fresh after Allied liberation, Rome, the Eternal City, is a mecca for the forces on leave. For Canadians stationed nearby, leave passes are issued so that all may visit the ancient capital of the world. A parade is held to honor the opening of the Canadian Social Center in Rome, the Canada Club. In charming, sunny surroundings, Canadians may while away the precious hours of leave. Old acquaintances are renewed and new friendships formed in a palatial home away from home. Millionaires' tastes may be satisfied on army pay. For those who like a little rug cutting, an Italian jive band gives out daily. The Bella Signorina, who leads the Hepcats, sure shakes a mean maraca. In Vatican City, the traditional abode of the Holy See, an interesting religious ceremony takes place. The Royal 22nd Regiment parade to an audience with Pope Pius XII. In the cloistered halls of the sacred city within a city, devout Canadian Roman Catholics are given the opportunity of paying their respects to the head of their church. Mercifully spared the concentrated horror of modern war, stately St. Peter's represents the solidarity of the church through centuries of strife. In relief against the ancient background, move the warriors of Canada, who symbolize the modern Dominion, solidly united against the forces of evil. To Canadians far from home, Rome glitters and fascinates like a flawless jewel. The Romans, happy to be free from German oppression, gladly become hosts to make Johnny Canuck's leave a real Roman holiday. Behind the lines in the Italian campaign, troops of a Canadian formation turn out for a formal inspection by their high-ranking officers. Lieutenant General Burns heads the inspecting party. Scrubbed web and well-pressed tropicals are the order of the day. The Canadian Corps in Italy prove their smartness on the parade square as they've demonstrated their toughness on the battlefield. Veteran battalions are on parade. The Princess Patricia's Canadian Light Infantry continually add to the long list of battle honors started by their fathers in the last war. The Seaforths and the Loyal Edmontons enhance the imposing array of Canadian might. Hardy warriors who fought their way from the beaches of Sicily up the rugged boot of Italy. The enemy has many reasons to forever remember the Canadian infantry. The Canadian flag flies over Lord's Pavilion for the first time as the Dominion puts an all-Canadian Army team in the field against a Lord's 11. The fountainhead of the British national sport, Lord's is to cricket what St. Andrews is to golf. A member of the Canadian team, Corporal H. Padmore from the Barbados, bowls with tremendous energy and pace. Having already played against the Royal Australian Air Force, Padmore is well on his way to becoming a star player. Canada provides the first sensation of the match by taking a wicket from the New Zealander Lieutenant Dempster, playing for Lords, who bats first. Captain Northwood and Captain Simpson give a top batting performance for the Canadians. Way back in 1887, the first Canadian 11 to visit Lords, the Gentlemen of Canada, played on the same field. Over half a century later, against the strong opposition of an 11 picked by Lords, and including 4 test players, the Canadian team gives an excellent account of itself. In a war-scarred village under a bright Normandy sky, loyal Frenchmen gather to celebrate Bastille Day. It's a far cry from the days of Robespierre and Marat, from that July day in 1789 when the revolutionaries from Marseille marched on Paris. The same spirit that moved the masses to take that impregnable prison fortress, the Bastille, still lives in the French resistance movement of today. they celebrate their victory for freedom with their friends from across the sea, the Canadians who are helping to drive the forces of oppression from their fair countryside. With the wisdom of the years, the old inhabitants look with hopeful eyes on their young lives. Together they extol the great men who laid the cornerstone of France's freedom. A guard of honor from a French-Canadian regiment present arms as the strains of the Maple Leaf and God Save the King mingle with La Marseillaise. The ceremony binds more closely the peace-loving people of the old world and the new. United, they look towards the day of freedom for them all. With the village of Carpiquet in Allied hands and the drive on Caen underway, Canadian infantry run into fierce resistance in the Carpiquet airfield sector. In spite of a fierce artillery barrage from army units, naval guns, and rocket-firing typhoons, the Germans hold on tenaciously for days. Entrenched in foxholes, Canadians closely engage the enemy and finally drive him from the important airfield. On the walls of what remains of the officers' mess still stand the Luftwaffe slogan by Goering and Hitler's message to his pilots. Solidly entrenched behind concrete emplacements many feet thick, the death or glory boys Hitler has picked SS troops are killed and captured only after a titanic struggle. With the airfield firmly in our grasp, Canadian troops join the main assault on the ancient city of Caen. Caen is an important military objective because of the strategic position it occupies. Its possession consolidates territory already held and frees the hands of the British Second Army for more open operations. Canadian troops play the leading part in one of the most massive assaults that Rommel has had to face in this war. Entering from the north, the onslaught carves its way right through Caen to the junction of the Odon and Orne rivers, due south of the town. Ruined buildings stand as evidence to the effectiveness of the naval support bombardment. The 16-inch guns of the battleship Rodney demolish entire enemy strongpoints. As the tide of battle moves forward, French civilians return to collect the salvage of their ruined homes. Life begins anew in battered Caen. Allied civil affairs detachments move in while fighting still goes on in pockets of enemy resistance. Their immediate job is to collect and distribute food to the inhabitants. Flour pours into bakeries which have been taken over to ensure a ration distribution of available commodities. The French take as well to the ration queue as do their English cousins. Though he only has rations for one, Johnny Canuck doesn't mind sharing with his allies. A site is selected for editorial offices of the Canadian Forces newspaper. Soon Normandy editions of the Maple Leaf will be rolling off the presses. Mobile wireless bands equipped with loudspeakers bring all the latest newscasts to the villagers. The focal point of interest is headquarters of the liberation movement. Men of the French resistance movement come into their own. For years, they put up a noble fight behind enemy lines, looking toward the day of liberation. Now that great day has arrived. In a simple though significant ceremony, the Cross of Lorraine is unfurled in the town square. Hearts swell with pride as civilians and military pledge anew their allegiance to those three great principles of the Republic: liberty, equality, fraternity.